Okay, so today we are going to do Lab B of Sheep in a Jeep. So you will need to make sure that you get the recording sheet from Cami. The assignment is in Google Classroom, and you will open this up. We're just doing the first page of Lab B today. Tomorrow we're going to do the second page of questions. So we're just doing the first page today. So this is about changing the height of the ramp and how that's going to affect the motion of our Jeep. So the materials that we're going to need today are our sheep in the Jeep. Remember, I stuck him in there with masking tape as his little seat belt. And then you will need the base that looks like this for our ramp. And then you need the parts to the ramp that we can put together. Today, we're going to be putting the ramp together two different ways. One, we're going to do it so that it's 5 centimeters from the bottom, the ramp, and then the second time we'll double that so it'll be 10 centimeters from the bottom. So it's going to be a more steep of a ramp. And the last thing we're going to need is our measuring tape. Okay, so first thing we do after we have assembled our materials is we are going to read the instructions. So it says Part B, changing the height of the ramp. Release the Jeep without pushing it from the top of the 5 centimeter high ramp. Measure in centimeters how far it rolls from the end of the ramp and record under trial 1 distance. So there is, on your worksheet, there are boxes to record each of our trials. So when the ramp is at 5 centimeters, which is the lower height, we're going to do 3 trials. Trial 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to calculate the average. We practiced calculating average, and that is why we were practicing that today, is because we need to do the average distance that the Jeep traveled. So first we're going to do trial 1, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So first we need to put together our ramp. And it uses the little ladder system. So we're going to use the bottom holes, the ones that are closest to the base, just like yesterday when we did Lab A. We need to make sure that the holes match up so that both of them are the lowest holes. And then we're going to put the crossbar in. And I have a helper today. George is one of my students from 3rd grade and from 5th grade, and he is my son's best friend, and he's here to help. Okay, so here is our ramp, and then we're going to put the cross piece on to hold it in place. And then we're going to put the ramp on. So this is 5 centimeters from the bottom. I'm going to back it up a little bit. So now we're going to put our sheep in the Jeep at the top of the ramp, and we're going to let go, and we're going to measure how far the sheep travels in the Jeep. Okay, so George is going to be my helper. George, why don't you hold on to the Jeep right here, and then you can let go when you're ready. And then you're going to measure for me. Oh, okay, go get it. We'll have to try it again. It's okay. All right, so George is going to try that again. All right, so when you're ready. All right, George, can you measure from the bottom of the ramp to the back tires of the Jeep, please? All right, we're going to use centimeters because that is the metric system, and that's how we measure things in science class. So you can tell me how many centimeters that it traveled.
143.
143. So you can go ahead and write 143 centimeters for trial number 1. Okay, and now we're going to repeat it a second time. So George is going to release the sheep in the Jeep again from the top of the ramp, and we're going to measure it again. Okay, go ahead and measure. So George, put the measuring tape like right up next to the purple. Yeah. And then like put it, yeah. And then put it so it's straightened out. Perfect. And then it should go to the back tires, so make it nice and straight. Yeah. Okay, how many centimeters? 129. 129. Okay. 129 centimeters is trial number 2. So if you will look at those numbers, you can see the first trial, the sheep went farther, but the second one, he didn't go quite as far. So we're going to do it a third time, and then we're going to calculate the average. So go ahead and release it when you're ready. That looked like it went pretty far that time.
Yeah, it went 146 or so.
146. Yep, that was the farthest. So now we're going to calculate the average distance. So what you do is you are going to add these 3 numbers together, and then you're going to divide them by 3. You can use a calculator if you want, or you can do it by hand. So we're going to come back to this at the end because I want you to try to average or calculate that average on your own without me giving you the answer. Okay, and then before we go on to the next step, it says make a prediction right here on the worksheet. Make a prediction. If you raise the ramp to 10 centimeters high, will the Jeep roll a longer distance or a shorter distance from the end of the ramp? So what I mean by that is we're going to raise the ramp up so it's at a steeper angle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that while you record on your sheet what you think. Do you think that the sheep in the Jeep is going to go farther, or do you think it'll go a shorter distance when we raise it up higher? So I am taking apart our ramp right now, and I'm going to turn it upside down because these holes on the other side, when I turn the pole upside down, measure, can I use the measuring tape for a second? 10 centimeters from the bottom. And that's what we're looking for, is double the height. So that's 10 centimeters. Okay, and so now I just need to make sure that these holes line up. And I put that one upside down, so I gotta fix it. All right, and then we're gonna put the crossbar in. And then we're gonna put the top piece on. Put the ramp on. You can see this is pretty steep. Let me make sure that that's the right height because that looks really steep. Oh, that's what I did wrong. I need to put it up to that first hole because I turned these upside down. That was too steep. Okay, this should be 10 centimeters. Let me make sure that's right. Yes. Okay, so this is the doubled height. So it definitely is more steep this time. So if you can see, this ramp is steeper the second time. So now we're going to be recording our data here at the bottom. We raised it up to 10 centimeters, and we're going to do 3 trials. Trial 1, 2, and 3 with the 3 trials for the higher height of the ramp. Okay. So George, when you're ready, you can do that one. Okay, now you can see it went even further. It went all the way down my hallway there. So we're going to measure. We might even have to add 2 measurements together because I just have 1 measuring tape and it's not quite long enough. So yep, put that at the bottom and then stretch it out. And then you might have to put a finger to mark your place and then add the 2 measurements.
So 150 and 51. That's 191.
Okay, so 191 is our trial number 1. Okay, so you're going to do it again. All right, and then we're going to measure again. You can tell me the 2 measurements and I'll add them for you if you want.
150 and 50. That's 200.
Oh, that was an easy one. All right, so 200 is our trial distance number 2. Okay, so you should have 2 trials written for the steeper height. Okay, we're going to do it one more time. You can tell me the 2 measurements if you want.
This is 150 and 54.
Okay, so that is
204.
204. So we're going to put that on our recording sheet. So then you should have 3 numbers for the bottom. You should have 191, 200, and 204. And then what you will need to do to finish this worksheet is you're going to add the 3 numbers together and divide by 3. One thing I just wanted to remind you is you should have a prediction right here about what you thought that was going to happen when you raised the ramp. So to write a prediction, I would like you to write in a complete sentence. My prediction is that the Jeep will go, and then you're either going to write farther or it's going to go a shorter distance. So I'm not going to give you the answer here, but make sure you have written something here for your prediction. And at the very top, you should have written your name. So before you turn in Lab B, we're actually going to be doing the second page of it tomorrow. So you don't need to turn it in yet. You can if you want, but we're going to finish this tomorrow. We're going to do these questions. You can go ahead and answer them if you feel comfortable doing it on your own, but otherwise you can wait until tomorrow and we'll do it together. Okay, that is it for Lab B. Thank you to George for being my helper.